Hey Brahmas, I'm Vera,
And I'm Camille,
and this is your weekly Bullseye broadcast. First up in world news, the coronavirus death toll continues to spike as China reports nearly 150,000 new cases and 248 deaths within the past week. As of right now, there are at least 680 confirmed cases of coronavirus in more than 25 countries and territorial areas outside of mainland China. Next, East Africa faces devastating damages as hundreds of billions of locusts are swarming agricultural fields, stripping the crops bare. Having been predicted by environmentalists for months prior, many believe that the plague was spurred by the drastic climate changes taking place. On a lighter note, Australia's fires have been contained for the first time since the harrowing plight has begun. In the last week, Australia experienced the heaviest rainfall they've had in 30 years, with a whopping 6.5 inches extinguishing more than 40 fires around the country.
And here's what's happening in the Democratic primaries. So far, it's a close race between Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders. Out of 1,990 delegates needed to become the Democratic nominee, Buttigieg leads with 22, and Sanders is a close second at 21. Warren, Klobuchar, and Biden have 8, 7, and 6 delegates respectively, making these 5 the only candidates with any delegates so far. Also in the primaries, Andrew Yang dropped out of the race this Tuesday, promising instead to support whoever the Democratic nominee is. In other election news, Virginia is poised to pass a bill that would make them the 17th member of the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, a group that California has already joined. This legislation is an agreement that will go into effect as soon as its members hold the majority of electoral college votes. When this happens, the compact members agree to give all of their electoral votes to whichever candidate wins the popular vote in the nation overall, essentially turning the election into a pseudo-popular vote system.
Next in entertainment, Sonic the Hedgehog amassed over $9 billion in gross revenue, topping movie charts next to Invisible Man and Onwards. Featuring songs by Wiz Khalifa, Ty Dolla $ign, and Lil Yachty, the movie's soundtrack has more than 20 million streams on Spotify already. Now shifting gears to colleges across the United States, Harvard, Yale, and Stanford are under fire for bribery charges. Officials are now investigating the foreign bribes that have arrived from China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Iran in the forms of gifts and contracts, with the motive still unclear.
And now with more local news. The estimated cost of the bullet train that's to be built in California rose $1.3 billion as a result of inflation recently, putting the total estimated cost at $80.3 billion. Also, a proposed California bill will bar California state employees from staying in Trump hotels on business trips, a move that aims to keep elected officials from privately profiting off of taxpayer money.
Now to sports. Today, in a news conference at Florida, the Houston Astros apologized for the sign stealing scandal, but instead infuriated critics even more. Despite firing both managers last month, along with being fined $5 million and penalized in the 2020 and 2021 drafting, many are asking for a heavier consequence. Last week, Kobe and Gianna Bryant were laid to rest in the Corona Del Mar Cemetery. A tribute for the NBA star and his daughter will be held at the Staples Center on the 24th, with a special performance by Jennifer Hudson.
Now on to news here at Diamond Bar High School. This coming Monday is President's Day, which means there's no school. Friday also has no school due to Staff Development Day and is also the end of the 6-week grading period.
And tonight, the varsity girls soccer team faces their first round of CIF against Ontario. See you next week.
And don't forget to pick up a copy of the Bullseye next Wednesday in the Upper Quad.